Chef Robin Asbell. Welcome to my kitchen. We're going to have fun because when you're here, it's all about the flavor. So today I'm going to show you a dish that is going to become a regular in your kitchen rotation because it's got everything that you like. It's quick, it's got great flavor, it's got all kinds of nutritious ingredients, it's a complete meal, it happens very quickly, and you know what? It's all pretty cheap too. It's a pretty inexpensive dish to make. So today's dish is West African peanut soup. And sometimes you'll hear it called groundnut stew. There are many different iterations of it. It's often really quite simple. Sometimes it has, different ingredients, fish, meat, but we're gonna do one that's purely plant-based. We're gonna add some beans to it. It's gonna be delicious. So I'll get started. I've got my pan heating up, got some olive oil, and I'm gonna put in a chopped onion. So many good things. Start with a chopped onion, and then there'll be some garlic. So I'm gonna saute the onion, and if I had, the longer you saute the onion, the better. The more time you give the onion to develop flavor and develop its sugars and all those sorts of things, the better it's gonna be. But in this case, we're gonna rush it a little bit because I'm doing it for you. So I've got the ingredients here for my groundnut stew, and I've got some peanut butter. Now this is crunchy peanut butter because that's what I like on my sandwiches, but you can also do it with creamy peanut butter, and some people prefer that. I'm also going to serve it over some millet. Now millet is one of those grains, I wrote a few grains cookbooks, if you want to look them up, the New Whole Grains Cookbook. And I love millet and wish that more people would eat it. The only place a lot of people ever see millet is in birdseed. So this is millet. It's a little yellow grain. It's incredibly sustainable. It's very easy to grow. It is a popular grain to grow in Africa in general because it grows well in, heat, dryness. It doesn't need a ton of water, and it's very quick to grow, and it's really pretty nutritious grain. That's a great way to help people out who have less food. So I've got some millet, which I cooked with some turmeric, and this is just this beautiful golden bed that we're going to have for our peanut stew. And I just hope that you'll try that. Now, if you don't want to try millet, you can use whatever you want. It would traditionally often be served with something called fufu. If you don't have that, you can always try it with rice. It's also good with flatbreads. It's just a great versatile soup, or you can just eat it as a soup. You can also embroider this on this if you want. You could make it, throw in a chopped sweet potato. But this again is the very, very quick and easy version. So my onion is starting to soften. Again, I would normally give it about 10 minutes, but I'm going to go ahead and put in a couple cloves of chopped garlic, and I will let that soften up and become fragrant. And I will start preparing the peanut butter to go in there. So to get the peanut butter into the soup, I'm going to stir or whisk this 1/4 cup of peanut butter with 2 cups of vegetable stock, just to thin I'll put in a little bit first so you can get the peanut butter flowing and nice and loose for this soup. So you can see it's now created this nice creamy thing. Now, one of the things I absolutely love about this is that if you are eating plant-based, you may miss the creaminess and the richness of some of the cream soups. So if you want something that's really creamy and rich that doesn't have cream or dairy in it, this peanut soup is an absolutely great way to do it. Now I'm going to throw in some spices. So I've got a teaspoon of paprika, a teaspoon of ground coriander, and a half a teaspoon of cayenne. And if you're a low spice person, you can reduce that, but I really like having a little spice in there. And as always, you know, if you're cooking for people who are lower spice, you can always just have a bottle of hot sauce at the table. Keep everybody happy. So I'm gonna just let those spices just warm and toast a little bit over the heat. And then in goes this peanut butter and vegetable stock. I'm gonna crank it up a little. And a cup of tomato puree, which I got the crushed tomatoes for that. And we're gonna get that going to a boil. And honestly, there you go. This is a fabulous version of a cream soup made with something that you can keep on the shelf in the pantry. I know I've been doing a lot with peanut butter in the pandemic, so I'm going to throw in a little salt because it's been pantry cooking, right? Quarantine cooking. We all want to be able to grab stuff off of the pantry shelf, and you look at this, pretty much all of this was in my pantry except for this kale. And kale's not one of the things that there's going to be a rush on at the grocery store. So I've got 2 cups of chopped kale. And when this comes to a boil, I'm going to just bring it to a good boil. It's coming up quick. And I'm going to stir in this kale. And we're going to have this unbelievably good soup. Now, if you are allergic to peanuts, you can always make this with another nut butter. I have often made things for people who are allergic to peanuts with almond butter, or if there's some other, you know, nut or seed that they can work with. Everybody's got their allergy lists these days. And we will work with whatever. I know that's what I do. I work as a private chef, and whatever people can't eat, I just work around it. So, and then I've got 1 can of cooked dark red kidney beans. And this one you can always do this with chickpeas, or actually probably you'll see these more often in this when you see this dish around. And I love the chickpea. I probably love chickpeas so much that sometimes I think I'm using them too much. So I went with the kidney bean, which is also a very popular bean. And it's a lovely dark red floating in the stew. And so I'm just going to bring this to a bubble and let it simmer a little bit. And I'll bring my millet. So here's this gorgeous golden millet, and I have a pretty bowl handy, and I'm going to put some beautiful golden millet in this black bowl because it's going to be pretty. And you want to have a nice contrast because you eat with your eyes first. So there's some millet, and we'll bring this to a good vigorous boil. And I chopped up some roasted peanuts because I like crunch. And we're gonna put a bunch of crunch on top. And the whole idea of eating peanut butter for dinner, I remember when I was a little girl, my mom used to make a curry dish and she would put out little bowls of chopped peanuts to go with the dish. And I couldn't believe I was getting to eat peanuts for dinner. It seemed like some sort of craziness that was too good. It was just too good to get to sprinkle peanuts over my dinner. So now I throw nuts over everything. I have this very fond nostalgia for putting nuts over a curry, over a stew like this. And, you know, why not? It's really incredibly nutritious and delicious. And, you know, nuts have been shown over and over again to have just everything that's going to help you live longer and feel better and be healthier. And you love them, right? They're just so good. So it's just a win-win. Now, I wish, every time I do this, I wish we had smell-orama. I wish that I could waft this over you like I used to my people in my cooking classes, back when we were still having those. But this is absolutely fragrant. It's got the spice. You can smell the peanut. It's wonderful. So I'm going to turn this down, turn it off, and I'm going to ladle a little bit over and see this incredible, beautiful, beautiful stew. And I'm just going to ladle some right over this turmeric tinged rice. And you can go with however much you're in the mood for. A big bowl. And then I'm going to sprinkle it with crunchy peanuts. Oh my gosh. Can you believe it? So here we are. You see how quickly that came together? That was almost instant, almost as fast as just heating up a can of soup on the stove. And it's so good. I can't tell you how. So I'm going to just have a little bite. It's very hot. Again, peanut butter for dinner, a little spice, a little savory, creamy, crunchy. I got my kale, I got my beans. I've got everything I need right here in this bowl. So I hope that my West African peanut soup will become a regular in your kitchen rotation because it's so delicious. And you can just run out, grab the pantry ingredients for it, keep some kale. You know, you should have some kale around. And if you don't have kale, you know, you can use other greens, spinach. You could even put a ton of parsley in here, and that would really be good. So this is your go-to fallback, easy plant-based meal. And I hope you'll make it many, many times. It'll become a canon in your home. And just remember, when you come to my house, we're going to have fun because it's all about the flavor. See you next time.